Previously on the Frontier Farmer. We are looking at the new settler farm site, and I think we are going to be placing a sugar mill for our sugar beet to be processed into sugar. Let's get hitched up and head on back to the homestead. So we are going to be taking the opportunity to merge field 3 and 4, and we will have to rename the field. And we'll just spiral around the field until we have all the channels of the stones raked in towards the middle. And I gotta say, I'm not convinced. The collection of rocks seems to be, again, rather finicky. Right, manure filled up, so let's get spreading. And I've been contemplating names for this field whilst I've been doing so. And I think the best I can come up with is Farmside. I think next month we will be moving on to some drilling. Now we've got a field ready to drill. Actually, 2 fields. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Frontier Farmer at the Dark Forest. It is now March time, which means we've broken through into spring now, and I'm starting off today by just giving the pigs a top up of everything they need. They've just had some grain, some protein, and some base food of corn, which is going to keep them well and truly sustained. I think we also need to give the chickens a little bit of grain as well to keep them fed. I think we'll go with wheat, because that's what we have the most of. Watch out, girls. I don't want to run you over. And let's just back up over here and get this unloaded. There we go. There's a little bit left that we can give to the pigs. And I think I'll give the cows a little top up of TMR. We have a pretty full mixing wagon, so that is good. There we go. We can leave the John Deere over here, the AMT 600, very useful that for feeding the animals. And we'll jump in the farm to give some TMR to the cows. Oh, they've taken quite a large volume, 40% of the TMR, but that is okay. Okay, that is the animals tended to this morning. We always need to keep a good eye on how they are doing. But yes, we need to head over to the new sugar mill, which we built over at the old Forestry Commission site. We probably need to come up with a name for that, because they have been processing some sugar between last month and this month, and I'd like to take a delivery to the dairy so we can get some chocolate underway, and I'll also need to fetch some milk as well. So we'll jump in the IFA, get fired up, and I think we will drop this trailer and grab the flatbed that is here, so we can easily grab the pallets of sugar that are going to be available. So I'm going to head over there, fetch some sugar, and head on back. Now, Burfield is in need of its new crop for the new season, and I'm thinking we are going to plant sugar beets in there to keep the sugar beets flowing for the sugar mill. And we also need to plant a crop in Farmside field, which is what we merged together, field 3 and 4, last month. But we'll head on down the road we built, and yeah, it's coming quite handy, this road. I'm glad we did construct it, as it gives us an alternate route to the Forestry Commission site. It's a fair old journey, but we have made it. You can see the sugar mill in the distance, and I look forward to seeing how much sugar they have for us. Okay, so it's not a huge volume, but it's 11,000 litres. To be fair, I think that's actually a pretty good volume. And we've got 22,000 litres of sugar beet left, so I think they've processed just under half of what we brought here. There we go, we have spawned some pallets out, and we can take a look at our sugar and get it all loaded on. Ooh, fancy. Sweet home refined sugar. Very nice. Lovely job. 11 pallets loaded up, and I think, yes, the IFA is looking a little bit worse for wear. Quite a heavy load, 11,000 litres. But we'll get this over to the dairy at Riverways so we can get some chocolate underway. Actually, yes, we need to fetch some milk as well. So we'll need to double back and grab the milk container. So leave that with me. Milk deposited in, so let's get our chocolate underway. So there we go, a good volume of sugar, but unfortunately we can't supply milk fast enough, so I've deactivated butter and cheese because we've made quite a bit of that already, but we are going to activate chocolate. So that's going to turn 1 milk and 1 sugar into 1 unit of chocolate, and we're storing it for now, and then we'll look to sell some once we've got a good amount ready. And despite setting the sugar mill to distribute sugar last time, I did stop that and go and collect it for the first time so we could do the first delivery, but I am going to change that to distribute now so it will supply our dairy quite efficiently. So that's a grand job, and we can head on back to the homestead now. I think I need to refuel the IFA, it's running quite low and I don't want it to conk out. But next on the job list is some final field prep that we need to do to farm side field and burr field, and we actually need to do the opposite of what we did to them last time. We need to lime farm side field and we need to manure spread burr field. And those jobs are quite timely really, because it is spring and we want to be getting our crops in. So yes, 2 fields that we need to get some crops in, but before we do we need to make sure they've got the appropriate lime and manure. And yes, burr field will be receiving sugar beets, and farm side field, that is our new merged field 3 and 4, will be receiving sunflower, and that is the first time we are going to be planting and producing sunflowers. We have, I think, produced some from our open garden, but we haven't done a field crop of sunflowers yet, so that will be exciting. And there's only 1 tractor for the job of doing our liming and our manure spreading, and that is the International Harvester. It is filthy dirty, but we are going to save giving it a wash until we've got all the field prep completed. And I think we will also need to be using this tractor for the planting. And I have a plan, because we have 2 fields to plant and 1 is bigger now because we've merged them. I think we are going to be upgrading our planter, which I did promise we would probably do if we were going to be doing planting again. So yes, we will be heading to the distribution centre to get a new planter, but I'm really going the long way around to go and fetch the lime spreader. liming completed, and just about in time before the rain has got too fierce. And yes, we needed to lime this field because we had to plough, create a new space where we kind of destroyed the field from having the tractor fest and tractor fair in this field, well, predominantly field 4. But yes, we needed to plough that up last month, and because we did, it needed a fresh dose of lime. So it's best we just limed the whole field really, and we just didn't quite make it with a full tank. Probably could have just scraped by with the last 92 litres that were left in there, but thought it best we fill it up for the next time we need to lime and get that field fully covered, as it is technically a new field because we have merged it. But we'll get parked up and switch over to the manure spreader, which is going to be in Burfield. Yes, let's get this weaved in here and over to the manure spreader, which is probably more an appropriate job whilst it's raining. Doesn't really matter too much if we spread muck whilst it's raining, but liming can be a little bit tricky as the lime kind of needs dry conditions to spread evenly and wide. There we go. We will top up from the dovecote. I think there's still plenty of manure and a fair bit of straw in there, considering we haven't topped it up in a long while. I think the oats that we harvested from Newfield have gone a very long way from the straw that came from that oat crop, and yes, it's provided us with a good amount of natural fertiliser for the whole crop season. Last trickle spread, and that is the field all nicely mucked. And yes, very rustic lines there, a couple of patches I missed, but yes, seemingly I did cover some of those areas and it didn't change texture, but that is okay because I'm happy with what we have been able to do. Right, yes, 30% left in here. We'll get this under cover so it's not going to receive any more dampness from the rain. I am hoping that the rain is going to clear up fairly soon because I don't really want it all afternoon. We did have quite a wet season last year and it would be nice to have some more sunny days. Alright, that is the manure spreader parked up. Now I'm thinking I'm going to head over to the distribution centre whilst the weather is wet to fetch our new planter. Now the planter that we used previously is in the shed there, and I'm not going to sell it because I'm thinking we are doing pretty well on the money situation, and the planter is something that we can donate to the settler farm that is under construction. Well, not under construction, but they are clearing the forest area where it is going to go. So yes, all of our old and smaller equipment is going to be kindly donated to the settler farm, which will be nice. Yeah, let's head and see what they have got for us by way of planting upgrades. Look familiar? Well, it should do, because this is the bigger brother to the Case Cyclo planter that we had. It was just a singular one, but this is a dual, the 950 Cyclo. And we have got the dry tank extension. You can actually have liquid fertilizer in here, but we've opted for solid. So we've got a dry tank extension, which has cost us an extra 2,000, and that takes us up to a 4,100 litre capacity. And this can take seed and fertilizer, but it needs 120 horsepower to pull, but that should be fine for the international harvester, and it's a 9 metre width, so quite the upgrade on the planting front. $47,000 for the privilege. Crikey, this is quite a bit bigger than I was expecting, but it's within the horsepower range of the International Harvester, so it should be good. But yeah, any bigger, and I think it probably would have been a job for the Kirovets. There we go, we are away, and it'd be nice and exciting to see this in action. Now, one thought that has crossed my mind is, I don't remember if this planter is a direct planter, which means we may have to cultivate both fields before we get started. Now, fortunately, the other half of farm side field, where it was field 4, we had a new disc plough and cultivator, so it managed to plough up the field and give it a cultivated state. But the rest of that field, where old field 3 was, is still a ploughed state, and bare field is just a harvested state from the last crop that was in there. So it may be that we have to cultivate. We'll probably test it out with bare field, but let's fill up the tank with seed and fertilizer. And if we're going to start with bare field, I think we will select sugar beets, as that's what's going in there. And if we pull over here, hopefully we can open the covers and get the seed topped up. Covers open. Let's fill her up. 1100 litres of seed and 3000 litres of fertiliser. So it carries a 1:3 ratio of seed to fertiliser, which kind of makes sense really, as we seem to get through more fertiliser than we do seed. Right, let's head over to Burfield and conduct the test as to whether this will plant directly. If not, we will have to grab the cultivator, and it's going to be the shallow cultivator, because I do not want to deep cultivate, as that will bring rocks into the equation yet again. So let's unfold this and run a little test. We have got sugar beets selected, so that is good news. Right, this is quite a wide planter, so I am thinking this is going to be a very quick job for Burfield. Let's switch on and lower away, and oh, there we go. I can see a planting texture. So it is a direct planter. Fantastic. This is going to save us some time indeed. Right, let's get the sugar beets in. One word, and that is fantastic. I'm very impressed with this planter. It's done the job smoothly, efficiently, and it was reasonably easy to maneuver. And Burfield is not an easy field to maneuver when you have larger equipment. It often snags the trees on the edges, which I did do, but with the tractor. And yeah, it can be quite difficult to do the tight turns, but the planter seemed to handle it with ease, which is good news. And I think we can pretty much move on to our next field, but we want sunflowers to be selected. And I think I can see that there is a bit of sun coming through and the rain is easing. Yeah, there we go, the rain has stopped. And before I move on to the next field, I'm just going to take a quick look at the sugar beet cellar, see how much we have in here. Oh yes, 14,418 litres left. Should top that up quite nicely with the sugar beets we've just planted in Burfield. And yeah, I think we'll probably have to, with the sugar beet harvester, do the headlands first to make sure we've got enough turning space in there, but should cope quite nicely with it. And yes, that will keep a nice feed of sugar beets over to the sugar mill. Now I think Thomas is around somewhere. He's usually stood here, but he is busy working, and yes, he has been doing some deliveries of the wood over to the new wood storage yard, and we'll have to go check that out later this afternoon. But yeah, I think we can crack on safely with our next planting efforts in farm side field. And we don't need to top up anything because we've still got plenty of seed and fertiliser. So let's unfold. I think we will tackle the headland like we did with Burfield, because our fields are not nice straight square fields. They do have lots of bends and kinks in them, so it does mean it's a little bit easier to get the headland done first. But we'll head in maybe to this straight edge here, and we'll correct the uneven bits on the return run. So let's lower away and plant our sunflowers. Raising up, switching off, and we can fold away, because that's the last triangle planted on farm side field. And what a debut to farm side field. I know it is a combination of two older fields, but nonetheless it is a new field which we have merged. Oh, I need to watch that. I'm not going too tight. I don't want to drive in our crop in new field. But yes, what a nice debut for farm side field, having sunflowers planted, and that's the first time we've ever planted sunflowers, so that'll be a really nice crop for us to bring in come harvest time. And absolute smashing debut for our new planter. It is definitely living up to my expectations. The previous planter, the Cyclo International, although smaller, was very, very good, and this one certainly is exactly what we were looking for on the homestead. It's bigger, so it can cover more acres, and yeah, it's going to fit in really well here, and its younger brother can head over to the settler farm once that is built to carry on its contribution. Right, we need somewhere to park this, and I'm thinking we'll probably put it next to Kiravet's for now, and that gives me an opportunity to grab the hose and wash both of these down, the tractor and the planter. Yeah, grab the hose and give this a wash down. We can't leave it dirty. The International Harvester always gets a hard time on the homestead, and it gets dirty very quickly. But there we go, that's looking much neater. There we go, that's dropped off, and we can leave the International Harvester here. What a grand job it's done today. So that's farm side field planted with sunflowers and bare field with sugar beet. And both fields fully fertilized and not needing lime anymore. Now, one potential flaw I've just spotted is that if we put the needs ploughing filter on, we can see that the area of farm side field which we extended and ploughed over to repair old field 4 is still showing as needs ploughing. So I think the disc plough that we bought, although it does plough and cultivate, it doesn't seem to have gone deep enough to clear the needs ploughing. So I think we are probably going to have to trade that in for something that does the ploughing job properly. So yep, that's something to look out for. And I wonder if we're going to see weeds in this side of the field because we actually haven't ploughed it to the full depth. But not to worry, we will sort that out. And I've just heard from Thomas, who's scurried off, that the settler farm is in need of the wheel loader because they are getting ready to load some of the logs that they have been cutting down, well, the trees that they have cut down. So we will hop in the wheel loader. We don't really use this too frequently anymore, just when we need to load wood chips. There we go, get fired up, beacon on, and we'll drop off the shovel and replace it with the log fork, which is what they are going to be needing. Now we have an array of log grabs, but I think the best one is this log shovel. There we go, shovel fork, fantastic. So let's head on over to the settler farm site and see how they've been getting on. Over the flat bridge. Left before the other new flat bridge that goes into Riverways. And we should be down the track to the settler farm site. And oh god, yes, I can see that they have been busy clearing trees. Looks like they've brought down the old Forestry Commission truck, which is now assigned to Riverways, and they've got the log trailer on the back. Bulldozer's still here, and there we go. There's the clan. Looks like they have made some good headway into clearing this forest. Right, we'll leave the Volvo there. There you go, fellas. Wheel loader is here, so yeah, you can crack on with loading up the truck. Give us a shout if you need any help. But yeah, looks like you're doing a grand old job clearing this out. I think once you've finished clearing out all of the trees and logs, I can help you do some of the stump clearing and help with the building of the settler farm. Looking forward to it. Now, it's fair to say that our settlers from Lake Point really have come a long way from when they first joined the Dark Forest. They were quite naive and didn't really know what they were signing up to, but they've taken on the project of starting a settler farm and jumped into action with the forestry machine, got some trees cut down, and yeah, they're ready to start loading and getting all the wood cleared. And that is going to be a good start for the settler farm. And of course they did help clear out and extend this road, so it's nice that we've got lots of support now in the Dark Forest with the folk from Lake Point, and it really is a forest ecosystem where they depend on us and we depend on them, so it is a nice community. Go, made it back over the bridge. And one thought for the future is we have 2 trailers worth of silage remaining, but at some point we are going to have to make some more silage, which means we are going to need some grass or some chaff. So probably not this season, but certainly next season we might have to do a crop of corn for forage harvesting, or maybe a field of grass for mowing and putting in a bunker to turn into silage. We will have to see what next month is going to involve. I'm imagining potentially some weeding of our newly planted fields and some odd jobs, and maybe helping all the settlers at the settler farm. That is it for today. Hope you have enjoyed watching. If you have, remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've got any tips, tricks or things you'd like me to do, then feel free to leave a comment. All there's left to say is, hope to see you again next time on The Frontier Farmer, and until then, catch you later. Cheers all, bye bye.